Good morning, my fellow Canadians. I'm sitting here having my morning coffee and I'm just so freaking ticked. I've got to get this out. Pardon me if I ramble on this one. Normally I'm a little more organized mentally, but right now, A, it's morning coffee, and B, it's so much is got me ticked off. I could weep. I could weep for my poor Canada and what's happening. Oh, I saw I've definitely pushed some buttons because I'm seeing my name mentioned on Facebook by the Antifa types. Yes, my name is Lawrence. Um, I'm the guy who stood with Pegida and stands with Pegida, Canada. Anybody with a brain who's read their mission statement or their mandate realizes what they're about. I'd like to mention the first thing. Contacted City TV online through their website because they say contact us. So I did. Pam Seidel from City TV was at the Pegida rally last Saturday. And in spite of the fact that the only ones who harassed her and who violated her space and who made her feel uncomfortable were Antifa and their supporters, she still managed to characterize Pegida falsely. Now, I'd like to point out the three falsehoods in her coverage of the story. She called us alt-right. I looked up the definition of alt-right in Merriam-Webster dictionary, the new definition. Does not fit Pegida at all. Nothing at all to do with Pegida. She also referred to us as anti-immigration. That's the strangest bunch of anti-immigrants I've ever seen, considering there was a Chinese guy, there were Aboriginals, there were brown-skinned Canadians. I'm the grandson of immigrants. Slavomir is from the Czech Republic. He's an immigrant. We are not anti-immigration. We are anti-irresponsible immigration. You don't just open the doors and say, come. You don't know what kind of trash you're letting into this country among the good people. So that's another one that was wrong. Third thing that was wrong, we're anti-Islam. We're not anti-Islam. If they were alt-right, if they were anti-immigrant, if they were anti-Islam, I would condemn them. I would revile them. I would have been on the other side of the barriers. If they were any of those things, they are not. They are anti-radical Islam. Big difference. Anybody who's worked with Muslims or lived in Muslim country knows that there are big differences between radical Islam and your normal Muslim. I've gone on in posts past about having lived and worked in Arabic countries and having actually dated a Muslim lady, having gotten a real earful. I can't, cognitive dissonance at its very best. You cannot reach these people. You cannot communicate with these people. Some of the facts about Islam, which I've mentioned in the past, but they bear repetition. I'm watching what's going on. There is a poster on Facebook, One Godless Woman. Ladies and gentlemen, for God's sakes, listen to what she has to say. This is a Muslim, a practicing Muslim lady who escaped the repression of living in a Muslim country and what she lived with and what she went through. She embraces Canada, the freedoms that Canada offers her, the freedom from fear that Canada offers her. Now, I know for a fact, having worked with Muslims, having, like I said, dated a Muslim, I know for a fact there are literally hundreds, if not thousands of Muslims here in Canada who would, under Sharia law, be called apostates. They have embraced the freedoms of Canada. They have embraced the freedom to walk around without a hijab. They have embraced the freedom from fear of being raped and not being able to report it. That's something I'm going to talk about, sexual assaults in Muslim countries. I'll get to that. This will be an eye-opener for you. I would love to see the Muslim apostates or moderate Muslims speak up. Stand with Pegida. Stand with Canadian-oriented organizations that are trying to stop the creeping spread of Muslim extremism. That's what you escaped from. Do you want it here? I'll tell you for a fact, I know for a fact a lot of them do not. That's what they left. They don't want to see it in Canada. The liberal left and the communists have no freaking clue, honest to God. A lot of moderate Muslims are being silent, and they're silent out of fear. Because if you're labeled an apostate under Islam, what other religion says if you leave the fold, if you leave our religion, any good Muslim can kill you with the knowledge that he or she will achieve paradise because you cannot leave. You turn your back on Islam, you are a target. They are fully entitled to kill you. What other religion? Name me one. I'd love to hear anybody. Put in a post. Tell me what other religion will kill you for leaving that religion. So the apostates are silent and they're afraid. And there's a lot of moderate Muslims are afraid because they have freedoms here that they will never enjoy under Sharia law, and they know it. But they're being silent because if they bring their voice out and the inroads that Muslim extremism is starting to gain into Canadian society, they become a target, and they know they become a target, so they're quiet. Who did ISIS kill mostly? Fellow Muslims. Oh my God. And the press, the media, don't get me going on the media, other than a few. The rebel media, okay, they're dismissed as an alt-right, right-wing rag. Freebird media, Alex Van Ham, God bless you, me son. He's a good guy, and he's trying to just just facts, not opinions, facts. I base my commentaries on facts, logic, and life experience. I've pointed this out time and time and time again. Not theory, not what I have been taught, what I know to be true, what I've witnessed, what I have seen, what I've been told by the people who actually lived it. Sexual assault. Now, the justification for the hijab is that you must dress modestly so as not to inflame men's passions. And yet, the degree of sexual assault in Muslim countries is phenomenal, but we never hear about this. And they don't speak up. Sharia law, a woman who claims that she was raped has to have 4 male witnesses that will testify that, yes, she was taken against her will. And a perfect example of this was the 13-year-old girl who was raped by her uncle. She reported it to the authorities because there were not 4 witnesses, and the uncle said that it was consensual sex. She was charged with adultery. She was sentenced to 100 lashes. She collapsed at 80. They took her to the hospital. How nice of them, where she died. So think about that. You are raped at 13, you go to the authorities, and you are flogged to death. Sharia law. I want that in my Canada. European girls are wearing the hijab so they won't be sexually assaulted by Muslim men. Like, that'll work. You're still not a Muslim. You're still fair game. There is no sin in Islam for raping a Christian or a Jewish woman. You want that? You want that in my Canada? Not in my Canada. At the Pegida rally, there are a lot of the socialists of Canada. These are people who obviously cannot see what's happening now in Venezuela. But having been to the old Soviet Union and having seen the workers' paradise, anybody who espouses that or would like to see even elements of that in this country is incredibly stupid. I am livid. I really am at the false characterization of groups that are attempting to stem the insidious stupidity that is changing the fabric of Canada. If you love this country like I do, with the same passion, you appreciate the benefits of being a Canadian, you got to get off your ass and you got to make your voice heard. Sign petitions. Write to your MP, write to your MPP that you will not allow this. Write to join organizations, like not right-wing white supremacists. I have no truck with fanatics. Like, if someone is a white supremacist, he's not my friend. Trust me. I have worked with too many people from too many different cultures to sit there and crow about the Caucasians as being the be-all and end-all. White supremacists, fanatics of any stripe bother me because fanatics by their very nature are dangerous and unreasonable. So I don't care if you're a white supremacist. I don't care if you're anti-Muslim fanatic. I don't want anything to do with you. I want reasoned, intelligent commentary, reasoned, intelligent debate. These protesters, these Antifa types, and some of the other ones who were there supporting them, the socialists, OPSU. Oh my God, what the hell are you doing there? But that just tells me the state of OPSU as a union. As an ex-union member, trust me, I'll tell you, that I would never be part of a union that embraced that alternate, that liberal left stupidity. Unions are there to protect the rights of the working man. That's your function. That's your mandate. Why are you wandering into the realm of the political, and especially a bad political ideology, is beyond me. Just stupidity. Oh God, my God, my God, my country, my Canada. What are you doing to my country? The politicians who've embraced this, oh, come, come, with no forethought, no common sense. We are looking at, thank God, hopefully a change of government. Unless they call an early election in October, you will have the chance to have your voice heard. I'm hearing now critiques of Andrew Scheer. Where are they coming from? Is he perfect? No. What politician is? Harper was fantastic. History will show that Harper was probably one of the most responsible prime ministers we ever had. I have one major criterion. Are you going to do what is best for the country? I might not like you particularly. I might not like all your policies. I am looking at this. Who will do the best for the people of Canada? That's what I'm looking at. Who's going to do this? Right now, the only one I can see is Scheer. Jagmeet Singh is a joke. And Trudeau, oh, you don't want to get me going on Trudeau, but there are people out there, and they're going to go, we always vote Liberal. Our family votes Liberal. Yes, but what about this? We always vote Liberal. Our family has always voted Liberal. Yes, but look what's happening. Look at the economy. We always vote Liberal. That same mindless drivel coming out of these people, where they will not think, they will read mainstream media that is, they never question what's your motive, what's your bias. I went on this once before about irresponsible press. The press when I was growing up, you got all the information, both sides of a story. You got the pro, you got the con. You were given the opportunity to look at all the information, not sanitized, not cherry picked, all the information, and then make up your own mind. We were accorded the responsibility. We were accorded the assumption of sufficient intelligence to be able to make up our own mind. That's gone. Now it's so polarized. You're either characterized as left-wing morons or right-wing goons. That's it. There doesn't seem to be any middle ground, whereas the bulk of the Canadian people are centrist. I am a centrist. I do not espouse radicalism of any sort. I cannot stress this too strongly. Radicals bother me for the reasons I went on. I won't go on about that again. I would love to see moderate Muslims and apostates speak up. I would like to see them band together. I would like to see them come out in our support. We get down shouted. We applied, I think in an earlier post I mentioned this, we applied for a noise exemption permit that we could use a small amplifier and a microphone. Ms. Hill from Pegida does not have a big voice, and we are being down shouted. I think we were 4 or 5 to 1 against us. And the megaphone, they were, with the horns and the drums and the screaming and sirens and all kinds of air horns and their own loud hailers spewing out drivel. We couldn't be heard. She needed something to get out there, get the message out to the crowd. Now, I'm not condemning all of the protesters. Some of them, I think, tried to engage. They were either shut down by their fellow protesters, or the cops just had us too far apart to be able to engage. But I do know for a fact some of them are honestly reasonable and curious as to what Pegida is about, why we adopt the stance we do. To those of you who are actually willing to listen to the voice of experience, to older people who have lived a life, who have lived in the working world, who have traveled, who have seen these things. If you're willing to listen to the voice of experience, anytime you name the place, I will sit down with you, have a chat. I will explain to you my position. I will listen to your position. Because I'm curious, what led these people? We were an intelligent youth. We were well educated. What happened to you? Where are you hearing this? Who's telling you this? We know the educational system has gone absolutely screwy. 16 years of liberal stupidity in this province, particularly. What a mess. I am so fearful about what's happening in Canada. I'm watching, like I said, these protesters embracing ideologies and totally missing the mark. It's this absolute extremism, this or that. They can't see the gray areas. They can't see middle ground. God bless the passions of youth. Really, I understand that. I was like that too. I believed very passionately in the things that I believed in when I was young, their age. Time and maturity tempered some of that passion. Logic, life experience tempered some of that passion. I would love to share this with someone willing to listen, what I have learned over my 68 years. If they're willing to listen, if they're willing to be open-minded. There was one I tried to engage at the Pegida rally, a young girl of color. Now, I wanted to talk to her. All she did, she just wanted to talk, and what she said was pure, unadulterated drivel. Nothing of any substance or value. Derisive, stupid, and I thought, and you are going to do what in this life unless you wise up? Nothing. I can be pretty harsh in some of my commentaries, I know, but I think I have a right. I'm seeing my country being flushed down the toilet by the Liberals. I'm going to do one as we get closer to the election about the damage done to the fabric of Canada by the Liberals. What the agenda is, I don't know. There's conspiracy theorists, New World Order. Is it a fact? I don't know. Some of the information seems sketchy, and some of the sources of the information to me seem sketchy. We are not, as Canadians, we are, I think, quite honestly, unlike any other nation in the world. We were actually closer to what Australia was, and in some ways closer even to the Americans, except that we're less vocal than the Americans. We're less rah, 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 Canada, hey, go. We're less of that. We're quieter about it. I won't say maybe perhaps less than the Americans, but we're a lot quieter about it. We don't crow about our accomplishments. And we can, if you look at Canadian history and what Canada has done for what is a relatively small nation in terms of population. If you take a look historically at what Canada has done, this is a phenomenally wonderful country. And Canadians as a people are very much to be praised. Some of the Brits, there was a tremendous thing posted once by a Brit about how understated we are and how we don't crow about our accomplishments, but yet how quietly steady and competent we have always been whenever we had to step up for the cause of freedom. World War I, World War II, Korean conflict. What Canada did in those three conflicts, we were punching far above our weight. Anybody who studies military history will realize this. I want to see my Canada continue down a good path. Now, there was a conversation with Derek Story and Rick Boswick, which I really liked. Two people I admire tremendously. One of the things, though, I disagree with, he says, I don't want to see Canada change. No, 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 no. A society has to change. You cannot stay stagnant. You have to change. A stagnant society is a dying society. I want to see change for the better. I want to see more pride in Canada and Canadianism. I want to see more pride. I want to see better utilization of our natural resources. I want a responsible, pragmatic government that will ignore the loony left and do what need be done for the benefit of the Canadian people. I want to see a government that will be fiscally responsible, that will not be chucking away Canadian money badly. Canadian taxpayers pay for Canada. for the infrastructure in Canada. And you take a look at how much money, Canadian taxpayers' dollars, the Liberal government has frittered away to foreign governments. It is shameful. It is a fucking crime. And they should be held to task for this. Hopefully in October they will be. So what was the point of this? Muslims are hypocrites. Extremist Muslims. They lie. Look at Muslim ideology. All the information is out there if you study. Taqiyya, the justifiable lie. They are totally justified in their religion to lie to us regarding their agenda, regarding what they want to do. I did that in an earlier post. Radical Islam cannot be trusted because what they say, Canadians accept what they say at face value, because in the Judeo-Christian ethic, a lie is a sin. Not for them. If it furthers the cause of Islam, they are encouraged to lie. They do not have to be honest with non-believers, with kafirs. People don't seem to realize this is basic tenets of Islam. Yes, we'll be able to live on our own country and in areas. Do we want to see us go the way of Sweden or Belgium or England? God forbid. Really? Do you want to see that? Muslim enclaves, Paris, which used to be a beautiful city if it wasn't full of Parisians. There are no-go areas in Paris now. Even the cops won't go there. It's not where it's worth your life to go there. It's a totally Muslim enclave, and they govern it by Sharia law. And if you're a Caucasian and you go in, you'll probably get murdered. And there's no sin to a Muslim for murdering a non-believer because we are non-believers. There's no sin in that. Christchurch massacre, 40, 50 people murdered. That is a calumny. That is an atrocity that should never be repeated. But, and the earlier post I said that, how many Christians are being murdered in Muslim countries and the media is silent? Oh, we don't want to feed Islamophobia. We don't want to feed or buy into Caucasian fear of Muslims. People can read. They know what's going on. And by the silence of the media, you are complicit in the destruction of my Canada. Think about that. Now, I've gone over my 20-minute that I normally allot myself, but I think it had to be said. Give it a listen. If you like what I've had to say, excellent. And if you don't, hey, commentary pro or contra, more than welcome. Have a great day, my fellow Canadians.